else with a fancy new intro. Holy crap, it's about time. I've been saying I got to do it for months, but there you go.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the Greg Cherry Show. Greg Cherry, alongside the former four-time WTC champion, former Jack of all trades champion, Jeff Meacham, and joining us today on the show, it's not only the first ever Jack of all trades tag team champion along with Matty Laws, but he is the current reigning singles Jack of all trades champion. It's one of my favorite people on earth. It's Sat E Niangi. Sat, welcome to the show, brother.
Satty two belts.
Satty two belts indeed. Listen, this has been a long time coming. The only reason why I never did your show until now is because I did an NXT show and I have a Kevin Nash work ethic, do one show a week or a day. So yeah, I don't have a show now. Yeah, so I don't have a show now on a Wednesday. So when you ask me, I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't have a show, and I'm doing the latest shift at work. So the stars aligned. It's midnight in UK. It's 12:03. I forgot you told me that midnight. Hence why I pestered you at 11, thinking I'm doing the show at 11. I'm like, Greg, you're usually on time. What's going on here? So when we sat there, you have to talk about sports. I'm like, I'm missing something. We're not on yet. And then I went back to our messages. I was like, I'm the idiot. We start at midnight. So, yes, I'm happy to be here. Sat E, always here to stimulate the juices of everyone's wrestling fandom. Mwah.
There you go.
And also, thank you, Alicia Fox, number 21 on the Royal Rumble, 2 years running. That's the only reason why I won.
Right.
That's very true. I mean, I couldn't believe that was the number that came up. I decided to give bonus points for that one, and then bam, right on the nose, Alicia Fox.
There you go. I dig it.
I didn't put it together that she entered 21 both years, but there you go.
No, I bet no one did. They go, Alicia, number 21. Why not?
Right.
Never been done before.
Except for Tydell and Jarrett. 10.
Well,
soon to be father.
Yeah, soon to be father. Congratulations to
Shawn Cass. Yes,
that did not look like him in that picture. Wait, like there's a picture of him. I was like, oh, she's got a new. I was like, no, she's got a new partner. I was like, oh, who's that guy that she's posing with? That's not your baby. And I looked closer. I was like, Shawn Spears, you've been gone for that long, can barely recognize you.
Yeah. Well, when you fire the guy's manager on AEW television and then you don't do with him, you kind of forget what he looks like.
Yeah, I mean, since MJF is gone, I mean, what does Shawn Spears really have to do right now?
Yeah, it's like
Pinnacle.
Well, no, Max is gone. They fired Tully. So it's like, what are you doing, Shawn, right now? FTR's got this baby face push out of nowhere to everybody but like us. It's like, dude, how are they not baby faces sooner? They're the best tag team on the planet right now, for crying out loud.
Lazy booking. This is my lazy booking. Just do a new Team Canada. Have Christian Cage, Ethan Page, Shawn Spears, and then work your way from there.
Well, no. What you do is you have Christian Cage and Ethan Page team up with Brian Cage and Adam Page, and you call the group Turn the Page and have Soraya show up for no reason in particular to manage them.
With DDP as a special guest referee.
That's right. But call her Soraya. That way people are like, but she's paid. No, she's not paid. That's WWE owned. But she's with it. No, she's Soraya. And just make people go,
see?
Because I'm that twisted. I can do it.
Just to figure that out, guys.
Yes.
So
anyway,
Josh is making reference in the comments to the bet that I laid down on last week's show. Because I put a little bounty on my own head.
Oh, yes.
If we reached $300 in donations, that I would defend my WTC championship in a 10-man gauntlet match, starting as number one.
Is it lonely at the top?
It's lonely at the top, but I'll tell you what. If first of all, this has to happen first, but if it does happen and I run through all 9 people, this sumbitch is getting retired.
Yeah, I don't want to hear.
Because what will I have to prove?
I agree. I mean, you were champion when I was like in my mid-20s. I'm now 32, so that goes to show you guys.
There you go. But I do have to say, there is an update to this goal. We're halfway there.
Oh, living on a prayer.
Yeah.
So is Jeff gonna be one of the guys in the gauntlet, or is he retired
No,
from?
Jeff's-
I am retired from that. No.
Jeff is going to host. JB3 is going to help him with the questions. So you're not alone, Jeff. You're going to have some help as far as question writing.
It's
But,
like we sent Vince Scully to Blue Heaven today. Do we have to kill me right now in the first 6 minutes of the show? Can we really not? Jesus.
And I want to say that if we do reach this goal, the date of this will be confirmed at a later point. It's not going to be right at the end of August. It's to be determined when we can coordinate schedules. That's when it will happen. It'll be a live stream. It'll likely happen on a weekend.
Yes.
But that's all TBD. If we don't hit that goal, it's not happening.
Yeah. I will say this.
If we get the 299 and the clock strikes and it becomes September 1st, I'm not doing it.
That's right.
Okay.
You have to hit the goal. That's what it's there for.
And I mean 299.99 because I'm that much of a dick. No. 300. Even on the Apple stuff. No. Because that means in theory. Okay, so wait, let me get clarification here. So that's a 10 contestant gauntlet, including yourself, correct?
Yes. So 9 challengers.
So okay, so that's in theory 9 matches. Well, it will be 9 matches because we're going to go through the whole gauntlet. So that's minimum 180 plus skip questions.
Correct.
JB3, help me. But August is my least busy month, to be fair. There's no premium live events. There's no pay-per-views we're covering because Emergence is Friday, and I'm not. Friday nights are a mucker feather anyway. So,
yeah, I have also, and I updated the wheel also.
Oh, geez.
So, since we have this bet going on, I have suspended the immediate title shot.
Okay, good.
On the wheel. But in its place, I put a spot in the gauntlet.
Oh, there you go. So even better.
It's essentially the same thing.
Right.
But not quite.
I say this, Josh, as far as you not apologizing, just because your Cleveland Browns are having the worst offseason shenanigans in the history of the National Football League, you are a bitter critter. You're wrong for this.
Yeah, we're gonna cover football in a little bit, but I want to talk to our guests.
Yes, of course.
Because Sat is, as I mentioned, one of my favorite people in the world. And
you're one of mine too, man.
Yes, I appreciate that. And
I have to say, I have a soft spot for all you guys that I saw in the No DQ show, because I don't know if you noticed, I was an avid viewer of the reviews and the quizzes, and so I know the entire history. So for me to talk to you guys, it means a lot to me, because when I started this, Greg, you're one of the first guys to support me, so I never forget that. Anyway, back to you.
I do want to talk about your start with Wrestling Daily. I know Wrestling Daily doesn't go along. You still have the show with SP3 and Alex McCarthy on Monday nights with Inside the Ropes, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But when you started with Wrestling Daily, how did all the people from Wrestling Daily treat you upon coming in?
Oh, so basically, when I first started on the show, the only person I had contact with at the time was Alex, because he was the only one I was working with. Because the deal was that I was doing a tryout for a month. If I got along with my co-host, then the gig is mine. So this was like late June. I want to say Pete Quinnell emailed me, because I don't know. Do you know the backstory of how I even got on their radar in the first place, Greg? Do you even know that story? Do you even know the backstory?
I remember seeing your tryout video. If that's
yeah. So the whole point, me doing a tryout video is initiative. So a friend of mine knows the people from Wrestle Talk, and I don't talk about it a lot because I don't know. It's because my friend, he's a former IWGP World Champion. He's the second one. So Will Ospreay. I've known him since his backyard days. I've known him since 2009. His ex-partner was a classmate of mine in college. That's how the connection happened and so forth. But he's one of my dear friends. So when he came to the UK from that neck injury, when he had to vacate the title, I went to see him. We watched Army of the Dead. We had Five Guys. And then, because when we used to do backyard wrestling, I used to be a manager because I didn't wrestle. I didn't want to wrestle. Drozdov having been paralyzed for me was like a cautionary tale about wrestling. Like, you know, one wrong move, that's the end of you. So that for me was enough. I didn't want to wrestle. But I did commentary in the backyard wrestling fed that I was a part of, you know, Will's fed, and then manager. He's like, dude, you know, what are you up to nowadays? And I was like, I'm not up to much. I'm trying to, you know, break into radio, you know, because I used to work in the TV industry, was there for 3 years, didn't like it, got out of it, got a day job while I was trying to do other stuff on YouTube. Didn't really work out the way I wanted. So I was kind of in a rut. And then I said, man, it'd be great if I can do something like Wrestle Talk, because I like Wrestle Talk, and it seemed like a doable kind of goal. And I was like, and also there ain't enough black faces as well. And I was like, I'm charismatic enough. I feel like I match the energy of the type of brand that they present. And when I said that, he kind of lit up. He said, oh, I know Ollie. I can give you his number. And I was like, don't give me the guy's number. I don't want to call him. Just speak to him, you know, gauge his interest, and then we'll take it from there. He spoke to Ollie. Next day, he sent me Ollie's email address. And then I took a week off. I went to Cornwall with my partner, because I've applied to other places like radio gigs, but I've seen in my CV a little video and that's it. So with this whole Wrestle Talk gig thing, I wanted time to think about how I was going to approach it, because I got the guy's email. You can send a CV or a little video, but you know, I feel like it's not going to capture the essence of who I am. And I just start thinking to myself, tough enough. Back in the days, you had guys, you know, recorded tape and trying to show, you know, cut a promo and everything like that. And for everything with Wrestle Talk, it's personality based, you know, personality led. So I was like, let me show my charisma. Let me show it. And also, it also saved me from having an interview. By doing all that video, it was like, okay, we got the gist of who this guy is. So I did all of that. And then the last part, because I'm a huge fan of Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey's gyrations. I love Heavenly Body. I love the new Foundation theme.
That's a deep cut too.
That's a deep cut, right?
So I love the new Foundation theme. So years later, I found out it was a new Foundation
there
theme.
You go.
But for me, it was the Heavenly Bodies theme. SummerSlam 93, Survivor Series 93. That song plays. I'm 3 years old. This ginger guy gyrating. I was like, this is my guy. I love gyrations. Any person that do gyrations, I'm a fan. I'm like, you sold me 85% a fan. So I went to my partner who's recording it, because she's not a wrestling fan. She's more casual because she has to suffer through it by watching it with me sometimes. So I explained to her, I was like, listen, I've done this part, you know, talking about myself or whatever, but you have to spray baby oil on me. She goes, no. I said, no, you have to. This is the cherry on top. I did all of this. I'm like, I purposely wore a shirt where I can rip open as well. So I went, you have to do it. So we put on the music. I did a Jimmy Del Rey, and then I went, open my shirt. She sprayed the baby oil. I started rubbing on my body. She sprayed it again, hit me in the eye. And then that was what sold, like, they liked it. They said, but that was like, yes. And the whole Sat E thing, that is my actual E is initial, my middle name, but I did it for as a joke, because with E, you can come up with a lot of BS. I haven't said E for Eggman,
I don't know.
Electricity, you know, all of that BS. But because they saw that stuck, so I became Sat E Niangi, and I was like, oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
All right, okay, I'll be Sat E Niangi, because I was thinking, you know, Paul E. Heyman, James E. Cornette, and I was like, yeah, I can roll with it. But there were times I was thinking of dropping it, because I was like, I can't do E stands for this, E stands, because I was like, I can't do a flipping Excel spreadsheet of what I said this week and next week. So I was like, I'm just gonna repeat myself. So yeah, that's the backstory. Did Wrestling Daily. My tryout period was a month, but no one told me if I got the gig. I just continued appearing, and I went to Alex McCarthy after we did the show in the next month. I was like, do I have the gig? He goes, of course you do, brother. You had it after the first episode. Like, Alex McCarthy has been a huge help. And that's enough of me rambling on. Greg, back to you.
Well, it's funny that you just sent that to me now, because we got ourselves a super chat from
there you go. Nice.
Showing love and support for my favorite guys, Cherry Meach. Very much appreciated. I appreciate the color scheme of that too. It looks
that's awesome.
Gold.
Yeah. Sorry for the off camera. I have a bloody nose for no particular reason. I don't know what happened here.
Suspended in a shark cage, Jerry Lawler.
Right? Jesus. Deep cut again. Speaking of. Jimmy Del Rey is we were talking off air about the deep cuts and themes and stuff, man. Jimmy Del Rey's WWE theme with the Heavenly Bodies. That's a hell of a cut, man. That's tremendous. Oh my God.
If you haven't checked out already on YouTube, someone did like a custom Titletron of Jimmy Del Rey, and it is great because you get all his gyrations. There's one point where you got Tom Pritchard with this is white guy dancing. He's doing like this.
Oh God, so bad, so bad.
Yeah, with his big curly hair, and
he's
trying to do his thing, and then you got these old moves. Jimmy, like even his moveset was so ahead of his time. It's a shame that he turned out to be a bit of a sex pest or whatever he did. Apparently, allegedly.
Yeah, right.
That's one reason why Tatanka apparently got fired or something that something about hotel or woman. There was blood involved. That's what I'm going to say.
It's funny. I did not have any idea until very recently when I was, as Greg knows, I was going back and doing a rewatch of the NWO era, WCW Nitro stuff. I didn't realize he was in WCW, not even under the Jimmy Del Rey gimmick. He had some Jimmy Graffiti. I had no idea that was him. And and I looked at his face. I'm like, wait a minute. And I looked it up. Sure as hell. I'm like, Jimmy Del Rey was on Nitro with a graffiti gimmick. What the hell am I watching? So funny.
But not even just that, is the fact that he looked younger because he shaved off his trademark mustache, and he's a clean shaven ginger guy. Yeah, and even his graffiti character was so half-assed because he'll come out and you just do this,
right?
And then
it was one of those. They kind of threw him in a cruiserweight division that was already stacked as it was, so. Kind of got lost in the sauce there.
Yeah, with the right push, he would have done well. I mean, even because we're talking about deep cuts of people that were in WCW you didn't know. Marty Janelli was in the best shape of his life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In the entire 90s, that was the best shape he's ever been in. He even shed his rockers gear for a bit as well. He was rocking different tights. He had a short haircut. I was like, this is the Marty he could have got pushed. I wonder if ironically. This was like the best period to push him. Like he's the most reliable, he's the most clean, and they didn't do anything with him.
Sad. It's very sad they didn't go any further with that. Yeah, that's a bummer.
He had the Hollywood Blondes theme.
Janelli has a big part in WCW history because he was the guy that Chris Jericho beat before he read the list of 1,004.
Yes.
It's a very important part of Janelli's history.
That's right. And wrestling history as it should be. Damn it.
For example, so like Janelli didn't get pushed, but at least Rick Martel got pushed briefly before his knee.
Before his injury, that could have been. Anyway, we're going deep cuts, and Catherine's waiting for her spin.
So we're gonna have ourselves a little spin. So we're ever so closer to the gauntlet happening, and we still got a couple more shows in the month of August, Jack of all trades included. So we're gonna get your spin. Let's see what you land on. Hopefully you have better luck than Big G.
Right. Dun, 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 dun.
Entrance, it looks like.
There we go.
Let me know which entrance you want me to do, and we'll break up the show a little bit, and I'll do that on camera. Take that off. All right, so you got the start with Wrestling Daily, doing good there, and then you get the call for Quizzmania. I want to ask you about that.
Okay.
Because it was, you were on Wrestling Daily for a few months, and then, how did you find out that you're going to be on Quizzmania? Was it just something that Adam messaged you? Was it something that was in the works for a while? Because you were fantastic on the episodes of Quizzmania you've been on. But how did that first one come about?
Well, thank you for asking that question. Like yourself, a surprise DM from Adam Blumpier, because weirdly enough, because I'm freelance, I'm not a full staff member on Wrestle Talk, but we do communicate because we do have an app that we use. We have a Discord. That's how we communicate mostly in terms of getting the show together. But in terms of talent-wise, I had never communicated with him until he messaged me, because I've been following him for years because it's Adam Blumpier. But all of a sudden, I get DM. He's like, "Hey, are you interested?" I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. Send me a render. So it wasn't planned weeks in advance, because I don't think even they plan weeks in advance. I think it's legit. is coming up next week or is coming out this week. Who do we have, sort of thing. So yeah, he said, "Hey, you want to do Quizzmania?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love the show." He even tried to like explain him just in case I haven't watched it. I was like, yeah, you know, I know what the show is, and yeah, I would love to do it. It'd be great because up until then, Wrestling Daily demographic in terms of audience wasn't as much as it is on Wrestle Talk. I feel like the audience, the viewership we had for Wrestling Daily would be great for any other YouTube channel, but for a Wrestle Talk affiliated channel, it just wasn't. So I knew for a fact when they Quizmania, I'll be introduced to viewers that's never seen me before, which was true because afterwards, as you know, Greg, you get a little bump in your social media account after you appear on Quizmania.
That's true.
I've stopped to
And
believe.
you know, one of the big stories, you know, for me coming from that, obviously, I greatly appreciate all the work that you put in to get me there on Quizmania in the first place, because you were the first guy, like Shawn kind of piled on and SP3 kind of piled on, but you were really the guy who like made it a point to bring that up. And like I know I had mentioned to you, you know, maybe you could, but because you're such a wonderful human being, you actually went above and beyond, and like I can't thank you enough for that, honestly. Like, I greatly appreciate that.
Listen, it came to a point because I don't know if you watched this. So how it originated for people that don't know, they should know. You invited me on to do the WTC. I faced Matty Laws at the end. We talked about Quizmania. You expressed your desires to be on the show, which I think, why not? I mean, you got titles, accolades to back it up. Even though Quizmania is, I'll call it sports entertainment version of what a quiz is. It's not actual. If it was actual quizzes, a lot of people have been winning would never actually win. I mean, Sean Rossap will still win. Will Washington will still be in there, and et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of pure based quizzes, it's not that anymore. It's entertainment. But yeah, but you wanted to be on it. You've been winning fan Quizmania, and for me, I feel like if I'm in because I have no power, just so people know that I don't have any pull. I'm now probably leaving the young boy or young lion stage of what I'm doing right now. So if I'm in a position where I can help someone, you bet your fucking ass I'm going to try help a person. Because if I'm in a position that I can bend someone's ear or make him see talent, because everyone lives in their own bubble. But where I am, I see a lot of different things that they may not see. I see what you're doing. I see your knowledge of quizzes. I know, because I've been watching you guys for years. Even Jeff, I've been watching you guys for years. I know what you guys bring to the fucking table. I am what you call it, a no DQ disciple. I was once the guy that was watching shows avidly. So I feel like I knew you guys. I grew up with you guys on what you guys on screen. So when Greg said it, I'm like, Greg's a lovely guy. I'm like, Greg, I'll do my best. You said possibly. And then when you asked me, I was like, yeah, I would love you to be on it. I don't know how to get you on it, but I'll figure it out. So when I was on Quizmania, I was like, and then you're supporting me like, yes, sir. I can't wait to see you on. I was like, Greg, don't worry. I've got a plan. Like every underdog story, you have to start a movement with a whisper. And that whisper was hashtag, which Matty Laws helped come up with, Greg Cherry for Quizmania. Wrote that down on the paper, shoved that out on the screen each time I got promoting it. And when Quizmania was over, it was like, okay, there's that one time Sats just pushing it. But I was like, no. So we did a Royal Rumble predictions. I want to say it was last year, because that's when you did the show, right? You did it last year, because the years ago quick. Yeah. You did it last year.
Earlier this year, I think, yeah.
Was it earlier this year?
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah. So Luke Owen invited me on for predictions, because as we're doing Wrestle Talk. And one of the things I did was hashtag Greg Cherry for Quizmania. And he's enough of that. He removed me from the stream. And I was like,
damn.
I'm gonna. But it's in jest. But at the same time, I didn't care. Right. I was like, I don't. You guys in a position of power to help someone. You've got a YouTube channel. No, marketing wise, you'd be an idiot not to understand. Appearing on a show like that, getting a new fan base. Why would I not want to help someone get a new fan base and increase his numbers? Increase the Jeff Meacham brand. To create the network, Jeff Meacham Network, Greg Cherry brand. Why not? Why would I not want to help someone out? We're in a position to help people. That's why I see it. Instead of having the same people doing the show over and over again, why not get fresh blood in? help out underdogs. So that's what for me it was about. And I'm happy Shawn got involved because Shawn's got some pull. I feel like it was because more people got involved and it became a movement, which I'm glad you're finally on it. For me, that's one of my proudest achievements this year.
You know, we play a clip, and we played a clip on here pretty much every week until I appeared on Quizzmania of when Shawn was on, and like RJ City was like, wasn't sure if he was going to be on. And like, I saw the Twitter before Quizzmania went live that there was a lot of talk of bringing me on that particular episode in January to be Shawn's partner. And we got this little gem right here.
Greg Cherry for Quizzmania. Greg Cherry for Quizzmania. Greg Cherry for Quizzmania. Hashtag Greg Cherry for Quizzmania.
When you said you would fill for 10 minutes until RJ City got here, this is not what you promised
Greg
me,
Cherry
John.
for Quizzmania.
You're pulling back the curtain, Shawn. What's that?
Do it.
So how?
That never gets old, ever.
That's great, right? That's Greg. You have to understand something, yeah, man. You should know you deserve all great things to happen to you. You're so humble. Sometimes you see humble people and you're like, damn, they're so humble. They may get in their own way by not asking for certain things. So I'm one of those people. I don't mind tripping over a china shop, knocking a few vases over politely, just so it's like, hey, look at this guy. So I'm happy that Shawn and even, you know, Steve and, you know, other people got involved in the SP3. And I was like, yes, it's a movement. This is a thing I like. It's a great cause. And you got on there. And my partner as well, she thought you were adorable. She said, oh, look at him. He's on there. He's finally doing it. Because I explained the backstory. So that made her root for you in that episode. And you did well. You did well.
Such a fun day.
I was going to say, if they ever invite you to do a tag team Quizzmania again, I know you have the team with SP3. I know Tempest also, you know, claimed he was fighting for your love, but let's face it, I'm your guy, Sad. You know that.
That's right. That's right.
And you're already a tag team champion on Jack of All Trades. You deserve more gold, brother.
Synergy. That's it.
So me winning Jack of All Trades tag titles, again, I don't know how that happened because I was convinced. I was like, okay, he's got Will Washington in the show. It's a wrap for me. I'm not going to win it. And all of a sudden, I was like, wait, who's winning? How much points? I'm winning. Again, this has been my story. Jeff, this has been my story the whole time this year that since Greg's had me on quizzes, I'm like, I'm going to lose in the first round. And I'm like, I'm in the second round. I made it to effing semifinals. I don't know how I flipping did that. So yeah, as you're going to say, Jeff, I cut you off. Sorry, man.
You know, it's one of those things. We've been, you know, haha in the Jeff Meacham Network group chats. Always go in with your expectations low. That way, if things are better, you're legitimately surprised and genuinely happy about it. And speaking of happy, I will say this, Greg. By the way, the Catherine that donated $10 is a dear friend of mine. She's been on our show a couple times, my show a couple times. She assures me you don't have to do the Vivid version, just the Sunny entrance from the WWF.
If I did the Vivid version, not only would I be demonetized, I'd be thrown off of YouTube.
Yes, this is accurate.
I think people would pay me not to do that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they probably should have paid Tammy to also not do it in that particular form. It's just that's
probably fair. Yeah, no knowledge of what that entails. I don't want to know. Don't anybody show me. I don't care. But I can do. I'm going to do Sonny's entrance circa Raw's 15th anniversary. How about that?
There you go.
That one's pretty tame.
She actually likes the lyrics more than anything else of that song. That song. So that's basically what it was.
All right. So let me tilt the camera up. I'll do the Sonny entrance real quick.
Yes, Curtis, the sober Sonny version. Yes, that's right.
This is the kind of stuff that you don't see on other shows. We talk a lot. But you don't see this kind of entertainment on other shows. You just don't. What kind of person in their right mind would do the original Divas entrance on their show and then just continue on like nothing happened?
Yeah, Yeah, and for those of you that want to donate to the cause, if you want to see Greg do a Sunny entrance later on down the line, wearing one of his T-shirts cut into a Sunny form, you can go to the Threadless store, Craig Jerry brand. You can also make that happen for yourself. So
Yeah, I'm still using Teespring for right now. So,
are you okay? Well, then that there you go. So the Greg Cherry store at spring.com. You know, all that happy jazz. And Kat is messaging me saying she loves us. So there you go. The YouTube chat is not being her friend. Oh, there it is. It is right there. Just kidding. I was gonna say the YouTube chat's not being her friend right now, but she ended up getting in there after all. Yeah, as much as Greg and his circle loves sheets out there in his area, I was able to show Kat for when she came out here to visit, came home to this. She used to live in Southern California. I took her to the local restaurant out here in Santa Clarita, Rattlers, and it was like now she has to come here every time and go to Rattlers when she comes back. So she understands the love for the local stuff.
What is a Rattler? Can you please explain to me?
Rattlers is very much a Western based decor, and it's just barbecue food, like barbecue chicken, barbecue ribs, the most ridiculously tasty garlic rolls you will ever find in the history of the universe, and shredded onions as an appetizer. Like not quite the blooming onion at Outback, a little bit of a different configuration of the onions, but oh my god, I hate onions with a bloody passion. I don't like the blooming onion because blooming onion's not good for you. They're not the good onions. They're the fried, ugly, breaded, like kill you in your sleep stuff. These shredded onions and these garlic rolls, if they had nothing but those, for real, I would like live there and eat nothing but that food, which is why I look like how I look.
Here we go.
Let me do the white boy dance. I'll Jimmy Del Rey and Dr. Tom. There we go. Dr. Tom was Kenito's partner. I can do the whole Dr. Tom thing.
It's pretty simple. It really is. Like her entrance.
Really is. Yeah.
Like it's kind of like a walk like that.
And you got to point to the poster. That's it. That's right. Here's my big giant poster that's bigger than me. There you go. There you go.
Like Sunny doesn't have as much of a pronounced entrance as a lot of other women that follow.
As even Sable did a couple years later, because she had some verbal stuff with her entrance.
I'm waiting for the day somebody asked me to do the grind that Sable did.
Are you ready for the
You can only do it if you actually say the line on the air. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
Well, you have to.
This is for all the viewers that want to be me, and for even more for the viewers that came to see me.
Guys, as we all are admitted fans of wrestling theme songs, Greg, one day you should do a round or ask people, was this song a Jim Johnston theme or a Jimmy Hart theme? Because as you know, Jimmy Hart, when he was in the WWF, he did help create theme songs. So there's certain themes people may attribute to Jim Johnston, but it would actually be Jimmy Hart. And especially if it's got vocals and lyrics, because Jimmy Hart's got like a trademark thing where he has to have like a female style like chorus. They'll be like, "The Greg Cherry Show, Greg Cherry Show." That'd be like what? That'd be like a Jimmy Hart thing. That's like, nah, that's not Jim Johnston. Like if you think of like, for example, I want to say the French Canadians. I want to use the Rougeau brothers.
We're all American boys.
All American.
That was an ODQ freaking parody staple for years. That and the freaking American Males theme for no reason.
American males.
American males.
You can envision Jimmy Hart in the booth saying, "Hey, listen up, baby. You gotta sing it like this."
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. I dig it.
Yeah. Question: the Rockers theme. That's Jimmy Hart, right?
I know Shawn's theme was Jimmy because he mentioned it in his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, Shawn's was definitely.
I'm pretty sure the Rockers was a Jim Johnston, but it could have been a collaboration. I'd have to actually look at the track listing to make sure, though.
So the reason I asked the question is because that style guitar reminds me of Bret Hart's theme, because Bret Hart's theme was a Jimmy Hart thing. You know, because that kind of style of guitar, that really 80s metal, was really Jimmy Hart's staple, while Jim Johnston was more bass heavy with his rock music.
There you go. Kat says this, and then I'm like going, what is it? And it's only Greg.
Yep.
He knew. Greg knew right away. See, See, Cat. That's why
I'm
he's
pulling
Greg
out
Cherry.
random ruthless aggression diva search themes. Like that is ridiculous.
You
Like,
know what? Joy Giovanni is immortalized because of that video game. Because she hardly had that entrance song for too long. She's known for being in that Thanksgiving episode with her friend, The Big Show, and give us some peas and some potato. Luther Reigns, Roman Reigns' dad.
She is actually not psychic. What do they call people that hold the seances?
Holistic.
Medium.
Holistic, yes.
No. She's actually a medium. So yeah, it was. I'm like, she's in SoCal. I almost got her on for an interview just for the hell of it, but she wants too much for that. But she's still super sweet. She looks amazing still.
Funny enough, she's one of those people why she exited is shrouded in mystery. She even recently mentioned it on Instagram, like, it was a time in my life. I've moved on. It doesn't sound like she had a great time. So you get a lot of because.
But I was going to say, you mentioned Jimmy Hart and all the little Easter eggs he threw in. People forget that it was Jimmy Hart and his band that were the first in this country to take the Beatles out of number one on the charts.
The Gentrys.
Keep on dancing, baby. That's it.
And Amy Weber is actually part of one of my favorite segments.
Yes.
Favorite backstage segments. At the 2005 Royal Rumble. When JBL is all drunk and stuff after retaining his title. That is probably one of the most entertaining JBL promos I've seen. Like JBL's great at promos, but that one in particular was just fantastic. I really enjoyed that one. And then Teddy Long telling him that
and his face just sinks. And for that big Texan face to sink, it's quite a trip, but it does.
Curtis Butler, Joy Giovanni is not mid. Like in her time, she was. Well,
I think he's joking because she's a medium and he's calling her mid. I think he's just making a ha. I could really be wrong.
I hope so, brother. I hope he'll make it.
She's really sweet. She's wonderful. Yeah. And yes, like I said, she's a spiritual medium and she's still adorable. So there you go.
So now that you're doing Monday Night Live with Sat and Alex, it's basically like a Wrestling Daily reunion. How did that come about after Wrestling Daily? I don't want to say folded, but basically the show ended.
It got defunct. It got discontinued. We just didn't. So little peek behind the curtain. So they're studying analytics on what draws viewers. And then they stumbled upon the fact that apparently if the videos are more concise, you might get more viewers. Because initially, when I was in Wrestling Daily, it's an hour show, or, sometimes we spill over hour 10, 15, depending how hot the topic is. All of a sudden, they wanted to use Wrestling Daily as a guinea pig to see, if cutting it to 30 minutes works, even less. It just wasn't the same anymore. It felt like, okay, we're just gonna speed through things. We can't sit on a topic for too long. And we were hoping, because what it sounded like, if this 30-minute thing doesn't work, we'll go back to an hour like before. So we tried the format. The 30-minute thing didn't work. We actually lost viewers because a lot of people would tune in on the show on the tail end of the show. Don't know why. I don't know why it works, but you get people tuning in later than they would earlier. That's when we get the biggest numbers. But cutting it 30 minutes, you get a lot of people that didn't know, and they did find out. It's like, well, I can't be bothered. So we lost a lot of our viewers. And then, especially when we did the show, it was like a SummerSlam, either I think predictions or post review, where we had all four co-hosts together. We did great numbers, and I felt like that was like a launching point. Then we got cut underneath for my legs with the show, and it died. The guys, Ollie, he promised me that, hey, we still want to use you. They put me back for Rumble the next month, so I do it, honored the word. And Alex McCarthy, he went to do his own thing, didn't, hear anything because, he was there, but he also got a gig with Inside the Ropes. He's got a good relationship with Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah.
So it was a case of like, if they won't like we could be a money pairing because I had great chemistry with Alex McCarthy, and I felt like I found myself as a personality or podcaster by working with SB3. I feel like with SB3, I was able finally to relax in terms of like, okay, you know what, I've earned my spot. I can relax. I don't have to be rigid. Because sometimes when you have to be trying to be professional, you kind of like start throwing your personality out the window. And I'm like, I'm not going to impersonate being a podcaster. I'm going to be myself. I'm a bit silly. I'm a bit out there. And I was able to hone in on that more when I worked with SB3, and then it spilled over to when I was working with Alex, and I would say outrageous things or whatever came to my mind. And then we did a brief segment where we us three together. It was right around the time last October, I want to say, when we went to the Wembley show in London. And then me and Alex were recapping it to SB3, and then just the dynamic of us three together, it felt electric. And we're like, man, we should do more stuff together. So it was stuck in Alex's mind. So Wrestling Date is dead now. He wanted to go to a place where he had more creative freedom. So he went to Kenny. Kenny said, yeah, we'll take you on. He goes, no, I got my guys. Let's do a show with us three. And he was, oh, sure, we do it. And then it was just months. It was just slowly coming together. So to answer your question, from early, as soon as the show canceled, he was brainstorming. It was just more or less when is the right time, the right space. Kenny ended up being the right space, but timing wise, it took months to get things together. And when he finally did, that's when we rolled out the carpet.
Which is fantastic. Kenny McIntosh is somebody who I'd like to get him on a show too at some point. I know he's probably a busy man with Inside.
Right.
That's another top tier person I'd like to get. It's awesome that you got the gig because you deserve it. I mean,
thank you.
And you touched on something very important, that you don't want to act like a podcaster. You want to be who you are. And I think that is a big part of doing shows like this, doing shows like Wrestling Daily and Monday Night Live. Being yourself, you can sell more of that than if you pretended to be somebody else. And seeing you be genuinely you, I think has gained you lots of appreciation, not just from the people who watch, but from people who could be your peers or your friends or whatever the case may be. And that's perfect. Like, you should be you. Like, that's period end. And I don't know if anybody has anything to add to that, because I feel like I'm going to ramble if I keep going on. But I think that's a big part of doing shows like this, because you want to be authentically you and not pretend to be somebody else just to get some clout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Me being myself is very important, and also diversity is very, very important, because I mentioned in the show, Greg, when we did Jack of all Trades tag team, I was like, dude, you've got women, you got people of color, not just 1, 2, you got 3 people of color on your show. So I see, they say action speaks louder than words. It's not you put in a nice trendy hashtag Black Lives Matter. You live it, you walk it, you talk it. Action speaks louder. And also I appreciate what you do in this space as well. And me being me, again, I see where it takes me, because it's the funny thing is I don't have a goal doing this. My goal was to get to Wrestle Talk and to do stuff with them, and I'm doing stuff with them. Even though initially I wanted them to hire me, and they didn't hire me, and it was like they didn't have space, and it was all that stuff. Basically, the stuff that could get me hired. Again, I got a Kevin Nash mentality. I legit was like, if I could just do less, to speak and just go home, that's great. Anything more, I was like, So they kind of know who I'm like. That's what it is. But it's been an honor. It's been a trip. The fact that you invite me on the show, the fact that I speak to you and Jeff, that is big to me. You guys don't understand. Like me and my younger brother, he still watches No DQ to this day. I don't live with him anymore. But we used to watch you guys do predictions of shows and reviews and everything. And when you guys started the quiz, when Jeff had like a Brock Lesnar like run, he was running through people. Then Greg came on, and then there was like this rivalry. And I remember when you cut this impassioned promo, like, look at Greg with that promo. He was broken when he lost to Jeff. And then when you regained the title, so I talk about that a lot, because that for me was like a moment that stuck out in the WTC back in when it's under the No DQ umbrella. So to talk to you guys, and I know Jeff Meacham at Talk Wrestling, you interviewed RVD and amongst other wrestlers. I know who you guys are. You just didn't bring a guy like, oh yeah, a couple of American guys that's taking a liking to me. Let me go on the show. no, I'm a. Let's just say I joke that I took a route to talk to you guys for free instead of paying for it. So,
Right. Whatever it takes, brother.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have any questions for Sat? I mean, we still got another 15 minutes. We're probably not doing any segments. I'm enjoying talking to Sat.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just enjoying hearing the story. I don't know a lot of the backstory because unfortunately for me and my setup, it's just one of those. I don't have the opportunity to just watch this stuff and get to talk to everybody because I've got so many shows a week. I'm building the empire, as we joke around here. So I'm enjoying hearing the backstory because Greg knows more about it than I do, knows the way to ask the questions better than I do because I don't know. So this has been wonderful to have this. I'm sorry I'm so distracted, but I'm in a house with kids and my face decided to bleed for no reason. So I feel like a dick.
No, don't feel like hey, Jeff, is okay. Like you said, you're a busy guy. Greg is one of those people. He knows how to spot talent or see what's on the horizon in the UK, and he spotted me. I remember when he posted in the chat, I was like, hey, that's Greg Cherry posting on the chat. I was like, what? Like one of my earlier shows, it's Greg Cherry. And when you appeared on camera, I was like, that's Greg Cherry. When we used to do the call-ins, he called in. I was like, oh, it's Greg Cherry. I love this guy. Like he has to know. He had to know. I was like, dude, I love you, man. Like you guys are great. You guys are OGs up there. It's just because you guys don't do politics. If you guys wanted to do politics, you guys can be wherever you want it to be. But you guys doing it authentically. You guys are just being unapologetically you. Probably that's why me and Greg gravitate towards each other because authenticity breeds more authentic people into it. Yep. So you guys are OGs in this space. That's what I think. You guys. It's
been. I always, to this day, like I said, I'm 20 years in. I still get a kick out of that kind of reaction. Greg and I talk about all the time. It's like when we call into somebody else's show or appear on else's show and we get it's them. They're doing the thing. It's like it's just me. Like I don't like. I met the people in this circle just going down there and hanging out with the original roommates, JJ and Mike and everybody. And when I walked in the apartment for the first time, you'd have thought rock and roll star would have walked in there. I'm like, I got boogie. Like what I have. It was just hysterical to me. And, we always joke about, going down to, downtown LA to go to the train to go down there. And I would always get, somebody I recognized me. To this day, the fact I get recognized when I go out in public, especially in an area like Los Angeles, where there's so many famous people, there's so many big people, I get surreal. It's just bizarre to me that, Aaron and I would go to a SmackDown at Staples Center, which is now, of course, Crypto.com Arena, and David Arquette would recognize me. I go, what life do I live? What world? It's bizarre. It really is to me to this day. And I know that, I enjoy being able to do things like your show. I enjoy being able to be a guest and not have to worry about the 25 different friggin' things going on. I can just go, okay, I get to answer questions today. Cool.
Yeah.
Very rare for either of us anymore. So
yeah. And Seth touched on something very important. He said that we don't play politics.
No.
Politics is a work by the shirt. But I feel like that's something important. I would rather have like 50 dedicated viewers watch this show every single week than have like 2,500 people and then just be a bunch of jags.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I would rather have the genuine connections with people that we get to talk to them than deal with a whole bunch of people being a-holes to each other for no reason. Like we preach that. And yes, Curtis, we very much appreciate you watching. Like Curtis is a longtime viewer of the show.
Both of our stuff, absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, when we were talking about the trivia, he was saying the Iron Man show is the best one. Well, Greg and I thank you for that. It's, that was a long, exhausting hour, just the match, plus the pre-tape, plus the editing that Aaron and everybody had to do. It was one of the most beloved things I've ever done in my 20 years, but one of the most exhausting.
Yeah. There was no, let me put it this way. The entire hour we went, there was no like editing in between. There was no stopping for stuff. We just kept going, question after question, answering 101 questions in an hour. Like
Yeah.
it was nuts, absolutely nuts.
That's
Absolutely
impressive.
crazy.
Getting the water like Sahara Desert. But shout out to Aaron Rift. I'm drinking the no DQ lotion, as he used to call it. That used to pop me. I don't know why. I don't know. It's like pressure
Yeah.
got to him because people didn't like it. I liked it when Aaron would show his sense
Right.
of humor. So I don't know why people wanted him to be serious. So if you ever speak to Aaron Rift, tell him there's this guy in the UK who's a fan of him too.
Yeah, Aaron, this I don't know if he's going to have the review tomorrow. I don't know what the situation is. I don't remember if the service for his mother-in-law is today or tomorrow. I feel like a jerk for not remembering. But yeah, Aaron has definitely been a major reason why both Greg and I are where we are today. He get, without me sitting, in his living room in the San Fernando Valley, recording the old audio shows or being in my house doing the same thing or going on location with video, there'd be no Jeff Meacham Network. There would be no Greg Cherry watching XMV and back in, 2000. And then I'm too damn old for this shit now. And we wouldn't keep on going down the track. And people to this day crap on no DQ, crap on the rep that the site garnered. And we were actually talking about it in the group chat today about, the old forums and how just troll laden it was back before the word troll was even really a popular terminology. Right. And I always, whenever I meet somebody new or do anything new, a new show for the first time, I always dude, Aaron and I laid the foundation. Aaron laid the platform out for me. I just walked the path as best I could. And I, managed to do a good enough job where people seem to like what I do. And I'm forever grateful. So if there's anybody that has a definitive reason and a reason to crap on Aaron and has legitimacy behind it, I've yet to hear it. Because as far as his platform goes, as far as his allowance and tolerance of people necessarily that often don't deserve it, he and Greg are, and if we're going to be honest, he and his wife now and Greg and his wife are two of the most tolerant couples I think I've ever met in my entire 39 and a half years. And if you've managed to drive any of the four of them over that line, that's your bad. Because they put up with a lot of crap. And if you've driven to the point where they're not putting up with you, it's you. It 100% is. So I forever love all four of them. And I wish that Aaron was still able to be local. And I wish that Greg and his wife weren't so darn far away, that I've seen them in person a grand total of one time in over 10 years of friendship. So positivity is very important around here. We do keep it light for the most part. There are the shows where we have to, address the elephants in the room, and that's never fun. But when we can keep it light, we keep it airy light. Like we're up on clouds if we can help it half the time, because we have to be, because once you get below the clouds, things get a little murky and ugh. So we try to have fun. We try to do stupid shit like, having Greg do Tammy Says entrance on camera. We do silly stuff like karaoke if people actually spin and land on karaoke. And I sing so shrilly, I scare my 5-year-old niece away and fret running in terror, because that's what we do on this show.
The wheel hasn't landed on karaoke in like a month.
Ever, right? I know. I think the wheel knows that we've actually frightened people and they don't want to put that in the universe.
Like there's 2 spots on the wheel for karaoke and it just avoids it like the plague.
It does. I think the wheel has some sort of universal IWC rigging that it knows better.
Maybe. I do have a call into the show spot. I think that was partially inspired by Wrestling Daily doing the call-ins.
Yes.
Yes.
And again,
doing on this one.
Man, they were clusters sometimes. Those call-ins.
Yes. And again, Greg, when we're doing XMV as pre-tapes only, 15 years ago. Excuse me, Talk Wrestling 15, 20 years ago almost, call-ins wouldn't be a thing. Hand to God, y'all. When we interviewed, God, who was it? I forget. It was a lot of the early ones, but I remember distinctly there. You know what? It may have been Tanae. The first time we had Tanae on the show, Mike Tanae on the show. We literally had one of those old, god awful. Even back then, they were still 80s, but they weren't really called 80s anymore. Those long cordless phones that you had attached to your landline.
Yeah.
We wrapped a microphone that connected to the computer, wrapped it around the phone so Mike's voice could feed into the computer and do the interview in the middle of Aaron's office in the like that's how we did it back then. So call-ins, you couldn't do them live because there was no technology like that in 2000, 2003. It just wasn't a thing. No. And even still, things like this, the StreamYard has been so helpful the last 3 years for me. I don't know how long it existed before I picked it up, but man, doing the no DQ, doing things on Hangouts when Hangouts was the only way to go. God, Hangouts is such an ungodly mess of an app that
remember Coast to Coast.
Oh yeah, Coast to Coast. Coast to Coast only worked the best when he and I were on the same coast, and we just pre-taped a bunch because it's like trying to do this every week or whatever it was a nightmare because Google Hangouts such a mess, connections themselves such a mess. And then of course when we do it live together, the freaking the skies open up and drive us inside with a snowstorm. It's like, okay, well that went well.
Yeah. So. Sat, I don't know if you remember this, but Jeff and I did a show about 9 years ago when he was actually here, and we did our top 5 Rumble predictions standing outside on my rickety old deck in -2 degree weather. -2 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that would be. Celsius.
To start with.
To start the show. And we sat out there for a good 15 minutes talking about that.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it starts sprinkling snow. And then whew, I don't think I ran that fast since high school football. Get inside. Because I'm a Cali boy. I don't understand that shit. Like I had no idea what, and so we got as far away. So far, we ended up in the basement of his house with the heater cranked up. Like, all right, as we recover from our dear hypothermia experience, welcome back.
As we're drinking hot chocolate.
Yeah, hot chocolate.
I think I must have missed that one. No, I haven't.
Yeah,
it's
on my channel, I think, and it's early 2013.
We may have to repost that just so people
right.
Because I like doing the From the Vault things. I posted a promo
Absolutely.
that I did.
That was good
from a charity event from like 2014, and that was really just a pop me. Some people buried it online. I was like come on, this is
those people suck. So
that people.
Can we talk briefly about social media? Yeah, this is a quick side tab.
People
are trash. I just want you guys to know that, especially you, Greg, because you've got a heart of gold. And when you're an empath and you feel things, you really feel things. Do not take on other people's negative emotions, because you have to understand they have a shitty life or whatever the backstory is. They say misery loves company. If they see someone as happy, someone's doing something for themselves, they want it to make it their life's mission or their day's mission to make that person as miserable as them. So just remember that you've got a great wife, you've got a great life, you've got great health, and you're doing the thing that you love to do. That's better than most people. Some people don't even get a chance to do anything. Some people even have their life cut out before they can even reach the potential. So just remember all the good. It's easy to think the bad, but remember the good. Social media is a piece of shit. Twitter's a piece of shit. That's why I rarely tweet wrestling things. I love films and TV, as most people should know. I'm a film and TV guy. I love wrestling's kind of like that first mistress, that first love that you always love, but sometimes you kind of hate because, with WWE in the Vince era, it was quite difficult. But yeah, I see what happens to people when they get huge following and they give too much of themselves on social media. It breeds contempt from other people and they get into arguments. I don't argue. If I see a take I don't like, I keep scrolling. There used to be a time when I'm like, let me impose you with my take. And then I realized if Greg posted a take, which you've never done, like a take I don't agree with, but if you posted a take I didn't agree with, I ain't going to go, hey, Greg, nah, let me tell you my opinion. You didn't ask my fucking opinion. You just wanted to tweet something and keep your day moving. You didn't go, oh, so this is my opinion. Great, Sat. You've got Twitter. Go use your own Twitter on your own time, away from me, and don't fucking tweet about it. Do you know what I mean? People think like, oh, Jeff has to see my opinion. I disagree. I think Maria Kanellis should have been hired by AEW, not Madison.
Madison, right.
Oh, it's kind of like great.
I did tweet about Maria though. Like I tweeted about that the other day that Maria should be hired by AEW.
Yeah. By the way, Sat, I'm glad you said that. One of my favorite quotes in my life is from my father, and I'm pretty sure he got it from his father, but I don't know for sure because his father's since passed on. Opinions are like assholes. Generally speaking, unless some medical malady over there, everyone has one, and they usually stink.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Not for nothing, because we got to close up the show. If only we could have Sat on every week.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Like, this has been a breath of freaking fresh air. I'm telling you what.
The problem is, if he is, you have to do the opening again.
That's fair.
For the first time in how many years, you got to do it all. Now you got to do it all over again.
That's fine. But Sat, we thank you very much for joining. I know it's 1 o'clock in the morning over there.
Jesus,
It's 102. So yeah, but I've enjoyed this to the point I was like, guys, I got second wind. I can do another 15 minutes. I got it.
Right.
We didn't get a chance to talk about. We didn't get a chance to talk about Ric Flair's last match and.
We didn't even touch on Flair. We didn't touch on SummerSlam. It doesn't matter. I had fun.
I did too, and that's the important thing. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
glad, guys. I'm glad.
So, Sat, thank you very much for joining. I will see you at the latest August 25th for the next Jack of All Trades for you to defend your newly won Jack of All Trades singles title.
I may lose that. I may just be
Sat E2 belts, damn it. That's right.
Yeah, how long do I have it though? That's the question. I feel like I'm lucky. It's whoever Greg picks up. If he picks up something that appeals to my strength, I'm gonna win it. If you talk about modern day stuff, I have no idea. I don't watch anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna lose.
All right, but thank you again for joining us. We're gonna get you guys to Dynamite. I know we're a couple minutes in. Hopefully, we didn't miss anything too big, but. Sat, thank you again. I will see you for Jack of All Trades. Jeff, I will see you next week, and we will see all of you. Thank you very much for watching on next week's episode of The Greg Cherry Show.
We're out of